All right, guys. Well, it is 2 o'clock and it is Friday, so it's time for your Facebook Live Friday. If you don't know me, my name is Alex. I am one of the coaches here at Working Against Gravity. And if you're one of my clients, hello. If you're not one of my clients, it's great to meet you. But I'm here to chat about how to eat when you have zero time. Now, if you have any questions at any time, just type it in there in the comment section and I'll try to get to it at the very end of my little video here. But I am here to talk to you about how to eat when you don't have time. I know that we are living a very super busy lifestyle where we simply don't have the time to cook. We don't really have the time to eat. We're between, one activity to the next. We're constantly in our car. We're constantly on the go. And I hear from my clients all the time, well, Coach, I don't have time to eat. I don't have time to cook. I just don't know what to do. And so I'm here to help you, to give you some three basic principles to follow so that way you can eat when you have zero time at all. Now you're probably wondering, well, what makes me qualified to talk about this? You think I possibly just work from home, I have all this time, I can cook, I can clean, I can grocery shop whenever I want to. Well, you're right, for now. But just this past year, I was busy completing a very intensive internship. I was working, I was training, I was moving across multiple states, throughout the year, and it was just a very busy time. But I still made time to eat because we need to eat. If we don't have the fuel, we can't think, we can't function, we can't work out like we want to. So that was my number one priority. But I took advantage of the grocery store, some other services, and used convenience foods. And I'll show you what I mean by convenience foods in here in just a second. But I have this nice little outline that I made up for you guys on how to eat when you have zero time. You may or may not be able to see this. There may be a glare, but just bear with me. So there's three principles that I would like you guys to think about and to follow. First one, think simple. Don't overcomplicate eating. Eating is essentially just fuel for your body. Sometimes you can get really exciting with eating, and I like to save that for the restaurants, when I'm going out, when I'm socializing. But when you're at home and you have zero time, just think simple. The next concept is stick to the basics. And I have this nice little plate guide right here to show you guys what the basics are. First thing is a protein. The second thing is a carbohydrate. And the last thing is vegetables. So as long as you stick to those three things, every time that you have a meal or every time that you have a snack, think, do I have a protein? Do I have a carb? Do I have something green or something colorful on my plate? If so, you're rocking it. And the next one is don't feel guilty. There is no shame in utilizing convenience foods. There's no problem with that. Yeah, there might be some sodium content, or it might not be the most elaborate meal or the most tastiest meal that you've ever had in your life. But at the end of the day, you're still fueling your body. So you shouldn't feel guilty for utilizing a meal prep service or buying rotisserie chicken or buying tuna packets and having a meal with tuna packets. Sometimes that's all you got and that's all you have time for. And that's totally okay. So, and if you happen to see my cat on my counters, I apologize. She's kind of in a mood right now, and so she's quite funny. But anyways, so those are the principles, the three basics that I want you guys to think about. Keep it simple, stick to the basics, and don't feel guilty. So how did I eat during this long internship that I just completed and still manage to reach my macros? So what I did is I utilized the grocery store. If you look inside most grocery stores, most things, vegetables are pre-chopped. You can find proteins that are already pre-cooked. A lot of things that are frozen. You can find microwavable things in terms of microwavable potatoes, microwavable rice. You can even use instant mashed potatoes. Just, there's no right or wrong to following your macros, and when you don't have time, sometimes you just have to do with what you got. And so earlier this week, I decided to pick up some of the things that I utilized when I was super busy during that internship working, and I just didn't have any time. And I really utilized my microwave and made a meal in usually 10 minutes or less, most of the time 5 minutes. So I want to show you guys a few things that I set out here that I pulled out of my refrigerator and out of my pantry. But the first thing is I want to talk to you about proteins. You probably have seen this, but this was literally all that I ate for almost a year. I utilized a lot of tuna packets. I know you're probably thinking, well, that's boring. Well, I did add some different flavors, some seasonings, some mustards. It really worked. And I also utilized a lot of frozen cooked chicken breast. And then I also found you can also find some fresh ones as well, but I find the frozen varieties, it's easy to just pull out of the freezer, take what you want, put it back, and it doesn't go bad. But these are just, most of the time you can find just chicken or just steak, and it works really well. So those are some of the proteins that I used. I also wanted to make sure that I stuck to the other basic carbohydrates. You can find a lot of things like microwavable rice. You can even find microwavable potatoes, as I mentioned. Usually those are ready in like 2 minutes or less. I know you're probably going to frown at this, but sometimes instant mashed potatoes, it might not have the best ingredients, but if you need some carbohydrates and you don't have time, this literally you can make a meal in that in literally 0 time at all. I also use a lot of convenience foods in terms of frozen vegetables and pre-sliced vegetables or salad kits. Those are key when you're wanting to add something green or something colorful to your plate, but you don't want to sit there and chop and cook or anything like that. A lot of times you can just throw it in your microwave, or if you happen to have a little extra time, put it on the stove top in a pan, get it a nice little saute, and that works really well. So I have things like, I always keep little frozen packs of vegetables, just different varieties. A lot of these you can just pop right in the microwave or put in a bowl, and you'll still get a great meal that way. I also utilize things like pre-sliced vegetables. I tell my clients about these all the time. Going to your grocery store, yeah, you might be paying just a few dollars more, but sometimes time is money, and if you can find things like this, it'll save you a lot of time, and you can just throw these in the microwave as well. A big thing that I love is salad kits. Now you're probably thinking, well, I don't like those dressing in those salad kits. Me neither. I tend to just utilize the bag of vegetables, throw out the dressing because I don't necessarily like it, and put my own dressing on it. And that way I can save some macros, because a lot of times those things have a lot of macros in them. And then you're probably thinking, well, what about like fat sources and things like that? Of course you can add some fat sources as you need. A lot of times we get fat sources without really trying too hard. So if you happen to need some fat at the end of the day, you can always put butter, olive oil on any of these to make it nice and flavorful. I tend to throw in different things like walnuts, or even use little individual packs of peanut butter, almond butter. These are great little portion control. I hear a lot of times people are like, well, I have no control when I have peanut butter in my house. Well, get one of these little things. This is usually just like 1 serving. So that way you can, if you happen to lose control, well, you're just stuck to the one. And then I used a lot of meal prep companies. I happen to have Ice Age meals in my freezer right now, and these come in handy when you're on the go and you just need to grab something and go. And you can just run out your house and you have a nice hot meal. Now, don't be afraid to utilize a microwave anywhere you go, including gas stations and things like that. There's no shame in stopping into a gas station to utilize a microwave if you happen to be on the go. I do that a lot, especially when I'm traveling. I'll just pop into the gas station, look around. I usually can find some kind of microwave right around all the pre-made foods, and just utilize that, and that way I have a nice hot meal, so I'm not eating something cold in my car in between different things. Now, a lot of times these items can be kind of bland. And that's where you utilize different spices and sauces. And I'll actually link a few articles that we have up showcasing all the different macro-friendly spices and sauces, and also some other links to show you guys other ways that you can create easy, convenient meals utilizing the things that you can just buy at the store without any prep or cooking. Now, I also have some go-to orders at some different restaurants, such as like Chipotle, Panera, Jason's Deli, that I know I can customize or make macro-friendly depending on what I need for the day. So even thinking about that, going one step ahead, because we know there will be times where you have to go out to eat at a restaurant, or you forgot to grab your meal as you're running out the door because you were super busy or you slept late. So just know some of those orders that tend to work with your macros, and stick to that order. And there's no shame in doing that every now and then. The beauty of macros is that you have so much freedom, so much flexibility, that you can utilize convenience foods like this when you don't have the time. You can go out to eat when you need to, or you can cook an elaborate meal at home if that is something that you have time for. But a lot of times we don't have time for those things, and that's totally okay. And I'm here to tell you that, if you're having to buy frozen vegetables or pre-cooked chicken, awesome. I survived a full year eating that way, and I was still able to reach most of my macros, still felt good in training, still had all the energy that I need to complete any of the activities that I had to do, whether it was in school, in my internship, or within work, and it worked. So don't be afraid, guys, to really utilize your grocery store to your advantage. Now, are there any questions? I know I have a few of you guys here with me on this Friday afternoon. I know you might not, and that's okay. If you happen to, you can always comment down below, and I will make sure to check the comments periodically, so that way I can answer any of you guys' questions. Like I said, I will go ahead and link some of the posts that I found super helpful in terms of visual representations of what I'm talking about. But yeah. Well, guys, that was about 12-15 minutes long. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in and enjoying this chat with me on this Friday afternoon. And I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.